share headphones with Emily, his sister.
I think he's getting his own headphones. Moneybags, he's in the next room.
Money. Moneybags, you there?
We were
Going on?
Dude, where are you?
Does you know how to use a computer?
CGI improved.
Does he speak?
From the moon and space will
He's
improve.
got an iPad. Is he even? Alright. Wait a minute.
Right, he's in the VC. I can see him.
He's unmuted. He's ready to go. Now look,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
don't be jumping down his throat when we hit him with the facts, the figures, the numbers.
Where is he?
Moneybags.
Give him a chance to adjust his mic.
You're self-muted, Moneybags, just to let you know.
Is
this good?
That works.
There you go.
There we go.
Much better.
Just a quick administration question. Can you tell me your date of birth and year?
It's August 22nd, 1997. Although my sister says 18, which is ridiculous.
Fucking hell, man. You are lying.
The next gen.
Yeah,
What
no.
are you talking about?
Are you older than your older sister?
No, she's lying as well.
What? Dude, you ruined it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Moneybags might need to go. Give us a proper age. You might need to go, mate.
Yeah, that's motherfucker is clearly
He's 18.
lying.
You've heard he's 18.
Are you 18 or not, my
Right,
dad?
but KIMO, come on. I mean, right. I mean, it's up to you, but I'm not going to engage.
Oh,
If he failed a question, man, come on.
Fail.
He
He doesn't want to dox himself. Why should he dox himself?
Alright. He was making a little
dox
joke.
himself. That's not doxing.
If he says he's 18, he's 18. What you want to dox
he
him
didn't
for?
say that actually, did he?
He didn't say he was 18.
It-
His sister
He's
said he was
making-
18. He showed he wasn't
He's
18.
making a little joke.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Is,
19,
like, these
18.
weird rules- here's the problem. If he's really not 18, then there's these, he's a minor, and the things that get talked about in here are things that, are in some countries illegal to talk about in the presence of a minor, and it becomes thorny when YouTube and Discord get involved. It's a non-joke.
Look, you guys are just trolling him.
And hold on,
Bottom line is
just
we
one
have a
other thing.
server rule. Whether it's legal in countries or not, we have a server rule, and that's the bottom line.
Well, let's ask him then. Ask him his age.
And also, just hold KIMO. What I don't understand why you're pushing for this, but earlier his sister said, "Well, don't have porn on when my little brother's around." Like, that's what the fuck. Like, why?
Yeah, and we all know
porn.
And we all know why KIMO wants him in because he said that in the chat.
Oh, KIMO.
Next level creepy.
Why don't you ask him?
He doesn't sound under 18.
I know.
That's true. That is true, Jim. I agree with that.
Making a big deal.
And
Stop
we
trolling
don't
him.
normally require passports or anything.
Okay,
You just have to go
Goodness
with what people
sakes.
tell us.
Okay, go ahead, Moneybags.
Well, sorry about the kerfuffle I've made.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry.
Oh no, I don't know.
I'm sure it will
sounds
reveal
not to me.
itself if you don't meet our unwritten criteria.
Why?
Or written
Sorry,
criteria.
like I was just making a little joke.
So how old are
You
you?
don't need to tell anyone. That's doxing himself.
No, I've just turned 18. I was born in 2002. That's it.
For goodness sakes. Any more information you want to know about him?
Yeah, do you have social security number?
So now,
You
so
can
he
figure
said
that out yourself.
1997, and now he's saying 2002.
Yeah,
right?
he's playing
I mean,
around with
he's
you.
clearly lying.
No, he's playing around with you. You can see his sisters are similar.
Come on,
They have
no, it
fun.
was an administration. It was just an administration thing. All he had to say was the
No, he
truth,
didn't have to say.
and then that would have been it, right? But
Not the police.
You don't play around, right? But right, well, I mean, I don't understand why you're happy about this, but I'm not.
This is
I'm
what
not,
we're
and I'm not
talking
gonna
about. We're
engage.
talking about the next
But
generation.
That's why when Bon Jovi opens his fucking fat fucking mouth, I say fuck off, cunt, right? Because I'm not going to engage with a
Goodness
child.
sakes.
Yeah, fair enough. He's got a genuine concern.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So what have you heard about...
Like, if it makes...
Let's talk about the shape of the Earth, Moneybags.
Yes, well,
What do you know?
personally,
Yeah.
I've always seen it as round, but I want to learn more about the flat Earth perspective.
Okay. What about the flat
I'm
Earth?
quite curious.
What about it? What are you curious about?
Well, first of all, I don't really know much about it. I haven't done much research on it. In my eyes, how does the water stay in? Now, this is a genuine question. How does it not just fall off the edge?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's normal. Yeah, I mean, the idea is there's a wall, an ice wall, containing all the oceans. Yeah.
Oh, so is that like supposed to be what we see as Antarctica or something?
Yeah, so Antarctica is like a ring around the country.
Ah.
Yeah. They tell us Antarctica is a continent, but no one's ever been north to south all the way around the globe to demonstrate that. Now we've had stories. We have lots of stories.
Yes,
and we have lots of stories and documents, and we have lots of papers where people say, "Hey, yeah, I've done this, I've done that." There was even an opportunity for flat earthers to go.
Matt, there's no point in just saying stop lying over and over again. You just is there? That's
Hey, Matt, the young guy was
conversation.
asking questions. Let KIMO answer his questions, Matt.
Well,
to be fair.
I mean, no, it's not just the one. It's fair enough. So, Matt, you're saying that's a lie.
So can I interrupt for 2 seconds?
Certainly can.
He is 18, and it was a joke. But if you guys are uncomfortable, I can ask him
he's
to
18. He's fine. I mean, don't worry about
It's
that.
okay.
It's fine.
Well, what I'll say is this, Emily. It is important.
I feel bad. I feel bad because it made you guys panic a bit.
Same
But,
here.
But let me just stress, it is important. We have been attacked in the past falsely on sort of this basis, and that's why we are very strict, absolutely just zero tolerance on this whatsoever. If you're not 18, you're gone. Simple as that. It's not that we don't like you or anything like that. It's just it's for the reasons that I've
rules are rules. Rules
if,
are rules. Fair enough.
if we absolutely if we're really strict on making sure there's no one in here who can be called a child, we cannot be falsely accused of things as we have been in the past.
Even though I say all young people try and get in here, try and listen to the information.
If they're uncomfortable.
So all I say is it's really important to us that everyone here is 18, and you guys can do what you want based on me saying that.
Sorry, it was just fucking joking, like a little.
Well,
fuckhead.
I personally think the reason they don't want.
I can be a bit like that.
I think they're worried about the next generation becoming aware that they've been lied to. And they're very concerned that young people will not believe what.
I'm worried about flat
This is what
earthers.
I was telling
I'm
you
worried
about.
about flat earthers falsely accusing us of being paedophiles, KIMO. That's what I'm worried about.
No, I know.
That's not
Just
going to
so we're clear.
happen.
No, I don't mean that.
I
I don't mean that. I just mean in general. When any time flat earthers speak to young people, not just here, like when Nathan does it, or if we just go out there, like when I was on my tour, there was a young person, very very attentively listening, and I said to her, make sure you ask your teacher, blah blah blah, XYZ. So, they don't like young people being exposed to the truth.
He will not be staying in the server for that long. I just wanted him to speak to KIMO because what KIMO said actually made me think, and I just wanted to invite him for like a couple hours.
Yeah, we're going to do that now. Let's get into it. Don't worry, your brother's in good hands. It's in good hands right now. Yeah, we're going to look after it. We'll make sure. Like I wanted to get Matt involved, but he's just ran away. We were talking about north to south. Polar expeditions. Moneybags, you still here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still here.
Yeah. So the idea is Antarctica is an ice wall surrounding the countries, holding all the water in. But we're told Antarctica is a continent. But like I say, there's no evidence of someone actually traversing north to south. Things like that. So that's one thing that you should be suspicious about. Why has there no expeditions north to south been carried out?
Yeah, well, I've always heard of around the world, but never like above and below or whatever.
Around?
Always west. Yeah, like Amelia Earhart tried it, and then
But
she
KIMO,
disappeared.
there has been fucking sort of random things, did it?
Not that we can validate.
Oh, not that you can validate to your own
Well, provide the
satisfaction.
evidence
Well, we
for.
can't
How would it be
validate if
validated?
Amelia Earhart
How would you go
she's
about validating?
gone.
How do you go about
Can we let
validating?
the young bloke go?
Yeah. So anyway, that's just that in a nutshell. Is that's what keeps the water in. All right.
Hmm. Yeah.
When it comes to curvature, measuring curvature, no one has ever actually measured physically the curvature. Now it's been calculated. If the Earth is 3959 with a radius, then we should expect to see the horizon at this.
Oh, now I understand.
location.
It's liars
Wait.
recognizing another liar.
But don't worry,
I
we're going
think
to
it's
get.
important
Got
for
it.
people to have both perspectives.
Yeah. I'm not going to just ramble on. We're going to look for the response. So when I say
That's
there's been
just-
no
it's just lying,
measurements,
Kimo.
Moneybags
Well,
obviously
it's
going to be
lying.
like, well, that's not true. Obviously somebody's measured it. So we're going to ask around. Has anyone measured the Earth curve, guys?
George Natchik, as you well know, Kimo did it.
He measured the. Let's take a look at that then. Let's have a look.
You've seen it. Come on.
What about our friend here, the next gen? What are they going to see?
Well, I'd say it's very hard to measure the Earth from down here. It's much easier to calculate.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. You just calculate. That means it's an assumption. So, like I say, we can go with if this, then that, then if this, that, and this. Yeah?
How did you get from saying that something is calculated is just an assumption? Where did that come from?
Because there's no physical measurements to that curvature. No one's actually physically. Because you just said it's difficult to measure. You'd have to calculate.
I won't go any further, but don't let him get away with too much, Moneybags. He's,
No, guys, you can interject, you can correct me, you can help Moneybags as much as you need.
Well, a calculation is not an assumption by any means, and you're saying, I mean, I don't know what blabber you came out with, but you've got to calculate something, haven't you?
No, if you're going to measure the radius, you would
What
just
do you mean
measure...
no? How can you make a calculation with no numbers? You have to have some numbers to start with to make a calculation.
That's an assumed number, an assumed radius.
Right. No, it's not. It's a measured radius.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. Who has measured the radius?
Okay, why are you trying to find that out?
So Moneybags here can see that no one has measured the radius.
Why is that relevant?
I'm just pointing out to Moneybags is that the belief of someone actually measuring the radius has never actually happened.
That's not true.
How do you measure the radius?
We've got
Do you
photos
just run
of the
around
Earth.
the Earth with a piece of tape?
We've got photos of the entire Earth. So
Oh,
how
we
is
can
that?
get to that. We can get to that. But the practical measurement itself. So you can see Moneybags. We have to go to pictures. No one has actually measured the curvature or measured the radius.
No, you could.
itself,
What would make it qualify as a practical measurement then? Would it be? I mean, because it seems like now you're talking about a tape measure.
No, but you're just saying
Yeah,
that we have
gosh.
pictures. We know you agree that no one has measured it. We only have pictures.
You could use.
A picture is a measurement. A picture is a measurement. You make a measurement from a picture, right? Why couldn't you?
You
I
could
mean,
use
again-
Polaris, though, right? You could use Polaris as you go south, and the amount that it drops by knowing that it's 69.
So
miles
money.
per degree.
I'm trying to
That's
get.
one way you could do
Go
it.
on,
Do it,
sorry.
Kimo. Why are you not?
Sorry, go on.
Why are you discounting that
No, go ahead.
immediately? I'm just wondering why you would discount that immediately.
I didn't even hear what you said. Say it again.
It's that
Or you
the
could use Polaris.
declination of Polaris.
Yeah, that's the one. Thanks.
So you're looking at the stars to measure the Earth.
Yes.
Okay, but the Earth itself, the radius.
Why wouldn't that? Why is that? Why?
I'm not saying why would or wouldn't. I'm just asking a direct question. Has the Earth
Right, and I gave you
been...
the direct answer, which is yes.
There's no issue. I'm only explaining to Moneybags here that nobody has
Okay.
directly measured the curvature, the radius of the Earth. I'm just going through.
that, didn't you? Because you meant radius and you said curvature.
Yeah, but just going through that no one has done these things. You're offering various other ways and actually directly.
This is the silly, his argument here, Moneybags, is that because usually on Earth, what we do is we measure the circumference of the Earth, the bit that we can see, right, the surface of the Earth. we measure the circumference, and having measured the circumference, we're able to calculate a radius from that. But KIMO is objecting to the fact that we calculate the radius from the circumference, and is trying to reject the idea that we have any knowledge of the radius of the Earth because we haven't actually dug a hole down to the core of the Earth and dropped a rope down and measured it.
And just to add one little tiny piece, we have gone to space, turned around, and then directly measured the radius from that angle, and that works.
Okay, so we've heard the opposition. They've been to space. They have pictures. They've calculated, but no one has actually directly measured the curvature or the radius of the Earth. Okay, so that's just one point why we know the Earth is not curving, because no one's actually. It's just an assumption. When we talk about Earth turn,
Notice a little trick there. How he goes from he slips in. It's just an assumption. Well, it's not, is it?
How do you know it's not?
Well, because none of the things we've described are, we've talked about actually visually seeing the whole thing from space. We've talked about making geodetic measurements on the surface of the Earth, and then he says that anything that we derive from this is just an assumption. Well, it's not. This is the opposite of just an assumption. This is something that has empirical evidence backing it up.
No, I hear what you're saying. You're saying kind of.
I should let Moneybags get in, but go ahead, KIMO.
Go ahead, Moneybags. We've got time.
At the moment, it seems like this sort of argument is going around in circles by repeating the same points. By KIMO pointing out that nobody has really traveled or measured on the ground, and the opposition saying that they have by using the circumference and using space technology.
Move on.
So again, there's no argument here. I'm not even
arguing. The first 5 years are the worst.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not trying to convince you, Moneybags, at the moment of anything. I'm just going through what we know to be true. So we know.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. So we know, like you now know, that no one has actually measured the radius, the circumference, curvature of the Earth physically, practically, with hands, with real tools. They've done it in various different ways. So that's just one element. So when we look at another aspect, Earth turning, rotating, spinning, therein lies another assumption. We assume that the Earth is turning at a rate based on the size of the Earth and based on the model, based on the assumption. Again, there's no observations of the Earth moving. There is no measurement of the Earth moving.
Can we go further into this? I feel like we've definitely.
Well, no, there's 3 points, Emily. It's 3
you guys
points.
have agreed to disagree.
I just want to make your brother aware of the 3 points, most important points: the curvature, the rotation, and then obviously space with gas pressure next to a vacuum.
Oh, KIMO, you're getting all 24/7. You got miggified.
No, well, I mean, I'm just highlighting these main points. So he's aware. He's aware of why our position is what our position is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just wanting to know the side of Flat Earth is not really trying to go, oh, well, no, but this. Just hear them out.
Good idea. Tell him all about the Flat Earth, KIMO. Tell him all the truth claims that you want to make about your Flat Earth.
Yes.
Okay, so we know water acts in a particular way. So we cannot have water conform around an exterior of an object without a force. So we know that water finds its level, it's horizontal, and when it's not disturbed, it lays flat.
KIMO, real quick. Describe Flat Earth without mentioning the globe.
Yes, because that's what you're going to get now, Moneybags. It's a load of reasons why it's not a globe and nothing about the Flat Earth. But let's see. Go ahead, KIMO.
Well, on the Flat Earth, we can see various different distances due to the atmosphere. Obviously, the higher you go, the further you can see. This wouldn't happen on any other shape. So these are just some of the reasons why we know we're not on a globe, and if it's not curving, the stick to the simple answer, which if it's not curving, the horizon is horizontal, then we can obviously see that there's no curvature. So, in terms of a flat Earth, when we're asked that, when we're asked what explain the flat Earth, we're being asked for a model. They want us to explain the stars, the sun, the moon, how the sky works. They want us to explain how big a country is, the distance to a country, how big is the flat Earth. Problem is that obviously you've heard about the Antarctic Treaty, yeah, where that prevents man from exploring the full scope of where we live. Okay? So obviously NASA has control of skies. The military have control of the seas. So we're pretty much in the middle and able to fully explore. And that's what a lot of flat earthers want, is they want full exploration. They want north to south expeditions. They want to see a 24-hour sun in the south. You're in Australia, so you should have a 24-hour sun, which has never been recorded. And again, this cannot work on a flat earth if there were a 24-hour sun. Showing there is no 24-hour sun in the south. Proving again we're on a flat plane. So again, what they're asking for is a model. Models are reifications. Yeah, models are reifications, meaning that there is no concreteness to it. Okay, it's just like an idea. I suppose the Earth is this big. I assume that sun is that far. Then you can build a model, right? If I suppose the flat Earth is this.
I told you he was smart, Moneybag.
If I suppose the Earth is this big, I can say, well, I suppose the dome.
This is all rhetoric. This isn't. There's no intelligence here. This is pure sheer fucking flat Earth memes. It's all rhetoric. It's bollocks.
Look, I'm not going to lie to him and say, oh, we know how big the flat Earth is. We know how high the dome is. I mean, again,
that's all you do, though. I mean, knowingly, you're not. It's willful, pathological lying.
And this is what we get for asking questions, Moneybags. We get you're a
that's
liar
not
for
true,
asking questions.
These aren't questions.
We're saying that go ahead, guys.
So sorry to interrupt. Moneybags, do you know how to use push to talk? Because we're getting all your sneezing and coughing through the microphone.
Oh yeah, sorry about
Quite
that.
disturbing on the headphones.
Oh, leave them alone.
Fair enough.
They're on your case
No
already.
problem. It's just I'm just trying to help everyone else.
He has asthma.
Yeah,
He has asthma.
weak.
Oh, I understand. My daughter's got that too. That's fine.
So, what we kind of do is, because we're not claiming a map or a model. What we're doing is telling people what we see. So when you go to the beach, you see the horizon, it's completely flat, horizontal, no curvature. Now we're being told, no, that horizon is actually curving. So we're like, okay, who has measured that curvature? And as you've just heard, we have to assume and calculate, well, it is curving. And then we can get into space now. Space defies science, defies physics. What you got in space is a vacuum without a container.
Which qualifications do you have to back that up, Kim? What puts you in a position to say that?
Well, this is what we were told. This is what we've been told, Chris.
Right, but what work have you done to test this?
Well, I mean, again, it's very simple. We can try to create a vacuum without a container.
What have you done? Not what we can try and do. What have you done?
Trying to create a vacuum without the container.
No. What have you done?
Chris, these things are not scientific.
You've done nothing.
They're not possible to do. Cannot have gas pressure without the container. So, Moneybags, you understand like a spray can? What you spray under your arms,
Yeah,
right?
It's an absurd analogy.
Right, so if you've got this spray can, if I pierce a hole in that can, what's going to happen?
It's gonna leak.
Spray out. It's going to go, right?
Pierce through.
Yeah, so that's the gas trying to equalize, right? So the pressure inside that can requires a container. To have gas pressure of this order, the necessary antecedent is a container. See?
What is it equalizing with, though, KIMO?
Sorry?
What is the can, the gas that's involved in the coke or whatever? what is it equalizing with?
Well, it would depend on the temperature, Chris. If it's warm
No,
temperature, the gas is...
no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. What is the temperature going to change? What it's equalizing with?
Well, like I said, if it's more dense and it's in a colder region, it will tend to fall. If it has temperature about
what?
it, then it will go
Right,
in all
but
directions.
what would be the cause, the main
Cause of what,
cause,
Chris?
like 99.99999%
What's our observed phenomena, Chris?
of the cause of the equalizing of the
Well,
pressure?
what's the observed phenomena
would do
here
that?
to have cause and effect?
No, Kimo, what I'm asking you a direct question. Why are you not answering directly? What causes the gas and the can of coke to equalize? What is it that does that? What's it equalizing with?
What's it equalizing with? With the air?
Ooh.
With the air.
Yes, like I
The
said, if it's
atmosphere,
warm,
you
it
mean.
will rise. If it's cold, it will fall.
Right. So it's an unreasonable thing to expect to do this experiment in the atmosphere. Then, right?
Yeah. So what I'm explaining is that, as Moneybags has stated, you pierce the can, gases will disperse.
I
Okay.
understand.
So we can see, Moneybags, that gas requires a container. Yeah. So we cannot have that pressure
Only in the Earth's atmosphere.
Cannot have that pressure without the can. So now we're told atmosphere has pressure. Okay. So if that were true,
You just admitted that it does. You just admit. I mean, you wouldn't use the word atmosphere. You use the word air. The atmosphere is comprised of air. Right. That's what it
is
essentially
the atmosphere under pressure or not?
Well, I mean, it would have to be if your can analogy holds any well water, right?
Hey, Chris, speaking of well water, I'm wondering if you've ever seen a water spout, and I wonder what KIMO's explanation for that would be, since that's pressure without a container.
Water, we're talking about gas.
Right, but there's pressure without a container, though.
Yeah, we're talking about gas.
That's a good one. I like that.
Go on then, what was it? What's the good one?
Well,
They're just trying to confuse your Moneybags. Again, this is what they do. Okay, they can see that you're getting closer and closer to understanding that we've been lied to, and they're panicking.
No, Kimo, I think what they're doing is just essentially taking the piss out of you.
Yeah.
So
why are you
I think that's what they're doing.
Not true.
So why are you keeping
That is
interrupting?
false.
Maybe
No,
not
it's
for you.
okay,
Maybe that's
Emily.
not
Why
true
do you
for
keep
you, but I think your
gatekeeping then,
brother-
Chris? Why are
God, I
you
hope your
talking
brother's
and not
smarter than
them?
this.
If they're trolling and you're not trolling, why are you talking and not them?
Yeah, Chris, I mean, why don't you help us all realise that we're standing on a water rock spinning in an airless void?
What's a water rock?
The Earth.
But what is a water rock? You said you're standing on a water rock. What does that mean?
Well, that's what the Earth is.
Well, I think we're getting at, if Chris is going to
I
interrupt
don't know
me,
what one of those is. You might as well say the Earth is a flobberty-doo. I don't know what a water rock is.
If there wasn't water on the Earth, it would just be a rock, right?
With water on it. Okay.
Okay, that's what a water. Just checking. Okay.
Yep, spinning in an airless void.
Yep, that's right.
So, does relative density not apply to water spouts?
Can we just stay with it? Can we just maybe stay with
Let me just finish this off and then you can get in there, Mo. So, Moneybags, just to clear, like I say, this gas pressure idea is what we're told we live in. And obviously, you would need a container for this pressure. And obviously, we're told gravity. You've heard about gravity, obviously. You drop something, it's supposed to fall. That's gravity, right?
Of course.
But if we change the medium, where we drop, say, the pencil, that would change the direction of the object. Yeah? So we know that it's... Have you heard of relative density disequilibrium?
No, I have not.
Okay. So the idea
It's made up bullshit, so don't worry about the fact that you haven't.
So the idea is that we're told when we drop things, they're being pulled towards the center of mass. This is Newtonian gravity. But a lot of these ball earthers have forgotten that Einstein, you know Einstein, superseded Newtonian gravity. We're now working with Einsteinian gravity.
It's all pure rhetoric.
So obviously we've heard the story when the apple fell from the tree, or it fell on Newton's head, and he said, "Oh, well, what's the cause to this effect?" And he hypothesized a force. Yes, a force.
Yeah.
And then obviously Einstein came along several hundred years later, or some time later, and said, "No, there is no force."
This is the I mean, this is.
Chris, it's like you're in science class.
Einstein came
Pay
along.
attention to the teacher.
No, it's pure. This is pure rhetoric. This is like the definition of the meaning of rhetoric. It's just like
He wants to hear both sides. He's going to hear this side, then he's going to hear your side, Chris.
KIMO, this is bollocks. You're just.
All right. So if this is all,
I want to expose my brother to both sides, and I want him to make up his own mind.
Exactly.
I want him to understand
Right,
the full scale.
I'm not saying KIMO's capable of this, but so, the problem with
Chris,
rhetoric
this
is that
is
it's a way of persuading
Terrible
someone
gatekeeping.
just using speech writing, and if he puts that notion into his head, I think it would be difficult to get rid of. There is no other side. There really isn't. Like this is all.
Your side
nonsense.
is the other side. I want him to hear the flat and the round
There really
side.
isn't another side. There's just
Well,
there's the truth, and then there's this.
So the
small-
truth is your side, and I want him to understand and listen to
truth
that.
doesn't have any sides.
Money
there's
bags.
truth in there. There's
Are you there?
a small
Yeah,
number
yeah,
of
still
fucking
here.
vocal morons
I just
who have. Hold
I
on one
just-
second. I'm just nearly done. Who have some standing in a community, and it gives them some semblance of power, which they refuse to let go of, and that's essentially what today's flat Earth community is a top heavy community of a few fucking individuals with power, and that's it.
Okay, so money bags. How does the Earth present to you? Like when you're just observing it and looking around, how does it sort of seem to you?
Well, you know, we have flat tables and such, so I stand on flat ground and all that when I speak about it. But it's sort of confusing because obviously when I think about that, I think that's just my point of view because I'm a tiny being on a giant rock. But I have a bit of a question. Would that view change, say, on the top of Mount Everest? Would I not feel so flat? Would I see a slightly curved horizon? Maybe.
I mean, there's every chance you'd see a good vista from up there and a curve. Horizon.
Like there's a YouTube channel. I'm going to go against what I said earlier, but just real quick, there is a YouTube channel by the name of Wayne Kellum who has taken umpteen high altitude balloon footage videos, and he from start to finish, like from assembling the payload and showing the cameras that he's using to the launch itself until the fucking thing pops. Right? Now all of them show curvature of the Earth. Like all of them. There's there's no exception there. And he doesn't use, when they're going to screen fisheye lens, he doesn't specifically use his flat rectilinear lenses. I've also shown that it's not due to distortion, like because I took two screenshots, one showing the curvature of the Earth, the other showing essentially landmarks, and one of them would be distorted, then it would seem to me that the other one would be too, but they weren't. It wasn't because there was no distortion, and it was just seeing the curvature there. I'll post the screenshots. Hold on, I believe I do have them. Oh, good. Here we go. Right. Now the landmarks essentially just developed land, like developed farmland, and as you can see, there's essentially a grid pattern there, right? It's a vaguely grid pattern thing, right? But if that was due to distortion, that grid pattern wouldn't exist in the form that it does.
Yeah, well, it certainly
Here's the
looks
curvature of the Earth,
curved.
and that's that.
So what's causing the curvature, Chris?
What do you mean? What's causing the curvature? What that,
Exactly what I
don't
asked
understand
you.
the question. I don't know what you mean by that.
What's the cause of the curvature, Chris?
The fact that the Earth's a sphere. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, what, you're just going to go? What's the cause of blue? I mean, what the fuck?
So what caused the Earth to turn into a sphere, Chris?
A gravity, I would imagine.
Gravity
I'm not
did
a
it.
planetary scientist, but I assume my limited.
So you're
understanding.
assuming that the Earth's a sphere, but you don't know
No,
what caused it to
no.
turn into a sphere.
No, I'm just.
You sure?
No.
You sure you don't
Yes.
think you're like hovering or free falling in a airless void in all around the sun? You
like I
don't
said,
think that, Chris?
I'm not a planetary scientist.
You don't think that though, Chris?
No,
The thing with that argument is, couldn't it be said
a
the other way
silly
around?
argument, like, do you really know what you know, sort of thing? Like, what if you don't know? What do you think you know? Or could that therefore?
This is the problem for people like me, Moneybags. See, you'll get shown an image.
You're not a problem.
Moneybags. So you have a fundamentalist zealot here, like Chris is displaying for you here.
A fundamental zealot. Like just a few weeks ago,
what happens, Chris? You're over talking me, Chris.
Chris is so fundamentalist. He can stop
just relax
now.
for a second.
Please, you should let Merle talk.
No, just relax for a second. I'm nearly there. I wasn't even going to talk that long.
For being a fundamentalist.
What you get, Moneybags, is
what you
get shown images.
Let Merle finish. Shut up. Go ahead, Merle.
Thanks, Jam. You'll get shown images, but then when you ask for a little bit more detail on this image you're being shown and how that would even be possible. See, for someone like me, I don't think the Earth's a globe for my own reasons, because I couldn't find the forces that would make that so. I couldn't find them.
He also hasn't looked.
And you'll notice that the idea here was to present you with the flat Earth idea, and all you're getting, again, as I said, is reasons why it's not a globe.
And that's what we're trying to get at. They're not even good reasons.
That's what we're getting at, Moneybags. They're saying that.
No, but I mean, this was essentially directed at me, KIMO. So like, call me a zealot, right? First of all, Mel has essentially said that he thinks that I'm one of the smarter ones. I'm not, but one of the smarter ones here might wake up and become a fucking like a flat earther. Essentially saying that I have an open mind, right? That's what he was saying. But now I'm a zealot, right? So which is it, Merrill?
Well, it depends what mood you're in. So right now,
either I'm open-minded or I'm a zealot. I mean, like those two states just cannot exist. Fucking at the same time. It's just they're completely.
You can change your mind. You can change your mind.
Right, but I mean, you were essentially saying that I was open-minded enough to look at this. I know you weren't saying it seriously, and I know you're not calling me a zealot seriously. So this is the problem with you, Mel. You're not serious about any of this. You were like mid-level. You're like middle management in the hierarchy of flat earthers, right? You're not a Dell or a Quantum Eraser or a fucking Cuntley, right? You're like middle management, right? Like a go-between.
Go-between.
Moneybags. What are your thoughts so far? You've been exposed to so much and so many arguments. Do you find yourself leaning to a side, or are you confused, or are you gravitating towards any information?
Well, personally, I've never been much for picking sides, because frankly, in my opinion, if it is round or flat, it doesn't really affect my life in such a monumentous way.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying the last time I was in this voice chat. I really attacked KIMO and Mil really hard that time. It was some epic ownage. That much is true, but over time, I've really taken the advice to sort of think for myself, which is what I'm encouraging you to do. And I thought, what difference does it make? Why would they lie to us? What difference does it make? What the Earth is? I don't think it does make much of a difference. But what's concerning is that if the Earth isn't what they say it is, well, what does that mean? Shouldn't we be scared? What if the people who are in charge of this have the power, what else have they told us? What are we living?
Well, I'm already well scared of the elite and the powerful, because who knows?
So can you bring me a cup of water, please?
All right.
Thanks.
Wait, you just called your sister babes?
Huh?
Oh, maybe I misheard.
You definitely misheard. Yeah,
Again,
sorry.
I mean, the shape is
It's
not
her thick
important.
English
Emily.
accent,
If
Chris,
your
don't worry
brother
about it.
lied to you, you'd be more upset about him lying to you, right? And same goes to you, Moneybags. If sister lied to you, you'd be like, well, why did you lie to me, sister? I thought I could trust you. I thought, you would tell me the truth. It's not about the lie. It's more to do with that you had
Wait, come
trust.
say hi through this microphone.
Yeah, you had trust.
So they know you're real.
So what it is,
Hello.
Moneybags, a lot of the globe earthers
That's a voice modulator.
use the government as their family, parents. They speak in terms of, we've done this, we've been to the moon, we've been to Mars. So a lot of
he's not on his device right now.
Well, I'm
Let's
just
getting
saying.
a cup of water.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're trying to get your water, yeah.
You might want to wait till sorry.
Oh, wait till he gets
just
back.
in bed, I'm feeling lazy.
So, Emily, what do you think?
I think the fact that it's very much a possibility that we could be lied to. The government is useless. I think that
Are you
especially
saying it's completely useless or overall useless?
I'd say overall useless. There's nothing inherently wrong with needing to be governed and having a body to govern people. That is completely necessary in society. I just think, particularly in
government are you a
Australia.
part of?
What do you mean? Like
where are
what?
you? Australia, England?
I'm in Australia, and we have
He's in Australia, babes.
we have like one of the highest regulated media media. I don't know how to explain it, but basically 70% of our newspapers, news sources, everything is owned by Rupert Murdoch. And that level of censorship and influence brings us near China.
You mean monopolization, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing, for sure. But is that a government thing?
Yes.
I'd say that the media is very much intertwined with the government, and that the government can, I guess, depending on who's in power or whatever political leanings that Rupert Murdoch has, is very much tied with the government and their agenda.
And also, don't governments have a hand in when businesses, like corporations, try to buy other businesses out? Say, Rupert Murdoch trying to buy another newspaper, he would need a sign-off saying hey, not to be a monopoly, but sign this.
See, our government has allowed it to get this bad. There was not enough restrictions in place, and obviously you'd notice if this one guy was buying out all of the media outlets, but what he represents is in the favor of what our government is currently representing. So, of course, I would be skeptical by this point if they've allowed this monopoly to just get so huge. I think it's reasonable to be skeptical.
I mean, again, for me, the main thing is, you're not going to live your entire life studying something that doesn't exist. A lot of these guys have wasted their entire lives focusing on rockets, satellites, space,
Being
travel.
Successful.
None of these things are a possibility.
Inventing things.
Listen to these
It's
guys.
sheer projection
So listen
and
to these
jealousy
guys, Moneybags. This is
of
why
other people's
people say why is
achievements.
the lie important or not? What's the big deal? Well, just listen to these guys, how they've invested their entire lives into something that doesn't exist. Now, if you were to have children, would you want your children growing up being lied to, thinking that they can go to space?
Absolutely not.
That's my point.
Absolutely not.
There you go.
I worry about having children, especially in this society.
Well, that's the thing. So you don't want. That's why I say the next generation is key to exposing this lie. Because people like yourself are asking questions. Where is the evidence? Where is this proof?
I'm just a little confused, though. I'm a little confused. Moneybags, when you went and got the water and you said something, sorry, it sounded like babes to me. Just what was it?
I can't get over that, can you, Chris?
So,
It sounded like what?
I mean,
Sorry?
Moneybags, look,
Like
if we're not on a flat
babes.
plane, let's take a
He
look at the
thought
evidence.
that you called this is completely off topic
He's doing
and
it on purpose. Don't worry about the
untrue.
gatekeeping. Again, he's
But
concerned.
I'm confused, though, man.
He's
Like,
concerned
It's Mel
about.
who fucked his mother.
I'm
Not
just-
you
I'm
know.
just-
Let's
I'm in a
keep
state
let's
of
keep
confusion,
that where
and
it
I would
belongs.
like to not be.
Yeah, you're just being random, Chris. You're there thinking away. How
No,
can I
I'm not.
derail
This is something that
Moneybags.
actually happened. Like
I
this
can
isn't-
say
this isn't-
on the
like,
record,
several
I
people
only said
also believe they heard
hello.
the
Yeah,
word
can
Hey,
you,
babes.
bring up the
Moneybags?
It's
stream.
not just
Bring up
me.
the stream. Bring up the stream. You stupid motherfucker.
I'm just saying, it sounded like it to me. I'm only asking for clarification. If it wasn't babes, then can
Come
you just
on,
tell me what it
Chris.
was, and then I'll not
Oh
get
my
confused,
god.
and we'll have clarified the situation.
Oh
Who
my
cares, Chris? Who
god.
cares?
Honestly, I don't know
Because
what
I'm
could
in a
have
state of
sounded
confusion,
like
and I
that.
would like to not be.
Believe I only said "here you go" and then "hello" into the mic. And
Right, but then like you were like, okay, and then blah 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 blah. Sorry, babes. What was it? It wasn't babes. And then she's giggling like a
Such
little
a
girl.
moron, Chris.
The little girl shit.
to be fair, it does sound a bit
I am 20 years
funny
old.
hearing that,
What?
but I don't remember
If I
saying
wasn't hearing
sorry.
that, what was I hearing?
Well,
Just
the mic
microphone
is
noises,
pretty
Chris.
terrible
Come
from a
on.
different.
The
From
mic's
a
pretty
distance,
but
I
that doesn't
right next to her
the mic
when I
can be
gave it.
as bad as a mic can possibly get, and it still won't change the word that you used.
He didn't
Chris,
use
just
What was
it.
the
DM him.
word that you used that I thought was
Chris,
babes? and
why don't you
wasn't?
DM
I
him
don't
a
understand.
message?
Why
This
can't
is
you
not
tell me what the
important.
word was?
This state
My
of
little
confusion
brother.
you're in is not worth the derailing
You're
the
gaslighting him. You're gaslighting him. See, now I'm
I'm
shrill.
not.
That is
Yeah,
I'm not
annoying.
gaslighting me. You've been
problem
proving
I
you're
see-
gaslighting the entire room. You're clearly lying.
First of
the stream if you play this much. Come on.
Accent is stupid. Second of all, that is my little brother. Stop gaslighting him. I don't appreciate it. I brought him here to get educated and to learn and to
No,
think
come
for
on.
himself.
Well, then you're a bad sister. You're an
I am
awful sister.
great sister.
I
I
confirm
am
this.
a wonderful sister.
No, you're exposing.
Right,
you're,
Chris,
you're,
this
he
is
is
you're
lying.
bullying now. This is
openly.
not even right.
Well,
You
you're
know
not-
what, dude,
hold
you're getting
on.
so
How old is
personal.
your
You're
brother?
making Emily
Not
get personal.
your age.
He
How old is your
definitely
brother?
is
Is he
trolling.
at least 18 years old?
Yes, we went
Yes.
over this before.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make
2002.
sure.
So look, Moneybags.
He's 2 years younger than me.
I don't want you just to listen to what I have to say. I don't want you to be like, oh, wow, this person told me that, so you can listen to both sides. I don't think you've had a chance to listen to the other side enough. Show you that we're on the board. Because our position is simple. Water cannot curve around the exterior of an object without a force. We see different distances depending on the atmosphere. Horizon is apparent, it's not physical. The higher you go, the further you can see, which is not what would happen. If you drew a tangent to the horizon, and then you looked down that line, as you went higher, you would not see the Earth, but on a flat plane, you would see the Earth higher, the higher you go. So these are the reasons. Again, we don't have a model, we don't have a map, we don't assume things, we don't reify things, we don't make things up, we don't presuppose, like the Earth being
Don't
this
have
big.
anything.
We
Don't have anything to
we
sell
don't
you.
presuppose anything unless there is a practical measurement to it. See?
No,
Now-
you don't
now,
have any measurements.
This
Come on,
is why
Kimo.
this is why the globe earthers are upset with the flat earthers, because they want us to provide them with a model. But we say falsification is independent of replacement, meaning if we falsify their model and show that their model is not true, not accurate in the real world, they then ask us, well, what is it then? What is your model? And we've already falsified, and that is independent of replacing the falsification. Yeah? That's where we are as an flat earther. So we're being told we're liars. We're being told hold on, nearly finished. We're being told we're liars. This is false. This is not true. We have proof of a globe. We know it's a globe. Well, Here we go. Ask. Let's find out what the actual evidence is for a globe, and let's see if you're satisfied with it.
To have a falsification, KIMO, you need to have things that can falsify those things, yeah? So unfortunately, you don't have nothing to back up your claims. So for example, can you explain to me, how can I observe things that are not flat around me, and you coming with the claims because they are flat? Can you prove something because it's flat?
Like I said, we make observations. We observe that the horizon appears to be flat. We appear horizontal.
From what altitude?
We don't observe a vertical. You're
From
saying
what altitude? From what altitude?
any
KIMO?
altitude.
Any altitude?
Yeah.
Let's say 440 kilometers away from Earth.
400 kilometers.
Yes, 440 kilometers away from Earth.
You mean the height of the ISS?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got the experts telling us that from the ISS you cannot see curvature.
I'm so sorry for you. You can't see the curvature.
Well, let me provide you a video where...
Yes, by cutting pieces of words from other people. Yes, I have seen the videos from the internet.
No, he's in a planetarium.
Editing videos and proving because it's something it's claimed because it's wrong is not evidence, KIMO.
No, we've
it's
got...
not, that's not evidence. You understand me? So, very clearly, can you prove something because it's flat? In your point of view. So, okay, we don't observe flatness. From a high altitude, it's round. Other thing, do you have something to prove because it's flat? KIMO, I'm asking you, do you have something else to prove because it's flat?
Yeah, I'm just getting you a link.
Yes, I have seen the videos from the internet. I know the videos from the internet. There are pieces of interviews from the people. Yes. But if you take the full context, you're gonna see because he's not talking about the flatness of the Earth. He's talking about the other things. So can other evidences? Do you have?
Again,
not cutted pieces from interviews.
I mean, again, all we can do is look at what the experts
Again, what?
would say concerning.
No, not even an expert have been saying because the Earth is flat from the ISS. I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah. So what we've got is a scientist of sorts at a planetarium, and he goes through what you could or couldn't see.
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson never said.
This is not Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is this guy's in the planetarium, and he shows us from a mountain, from an aeroplane, from a balloon, of what the horizon, what the Earth would look like from these heights.
I talk about ISS, KIMO. I'm talking about
he
ISS.
Says from
not
the
balloon,
ISS,
not balloon, KIMO, ISS.
Yeah,
Stay
he
with
says
ISS.
from the ISS you can still not see curvature.
Yes, you can see it.
Not
it's
according to
very
the
easy.
scientists.
You can see it. You have no, not according to science. You have videos, KIMO. You have videos on YouTube.
Yeah, it's that timestamp. If you're gonna check that out, Moneybags, take a look at that video from 7 minutes onwards. Got the scale model of the globe, and he goes through how much curvature would you see from any given height, and they say that you will not see curvature from Felix Baumgartner, from a balloon, from a plane, from a mountain. He said even from the ISS, the ball is too big to see curvature from that height.
No, you can't see curvature from the height.
What confuses me with that.
And also there's and also the one they were talking about is Neil deGrasse Tyson, where he said if you're 23 miles above the surface of the Earth, he says that stuff is flat. The horizon
23 miles, KIMO, not 440 kilometers away. 23
yes,
miles.
Provided both videos on the ISS where they say you cannot see curvature, and Neil deGrasse saying that stuff is flat.
So again, you take it pieces from the interviews. Moneybag, those are things that are falsified by other people just to create delusions. It's simple like that. To spread the words on the internet for something that you haven't been on school, or you haven't been pay attention on school, about some certain things about our physical nature, it's so easy to do it. It's so easy to manipulate the information. The hardest part is to prove the things are correct. This is the hardest part of this equation. Why they are hard? Because all the things that we are implying, or all the things that the scientists have been proved from 600 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and they're still going to prove them. It's very hard for us to bring them on the table because we are on the Discord and we are on the internet, and we don't have the proper tools to bring them. For those things, you have to be on school, you have to learn by yourself. And KIMO have said, because we have been wasted our life. We didn't waste our life on learning. Learning is what make people to progress. If you don't want to progress, stay with the flat earth, unfortunately, and you're gonna have. I'm gonna talk from my experience.
It's learning about the flat earth, though.
Yes,
It's still
yes,
learning.
this is the biggest problem, because it's learning about the things that are disinformed from the beginning. This is the biggest problem.
Isn't it important to learn?
No,
It's like learning about
learning-
fairies and thinking that there's a possibility
isn't
that fairies
real.
are true.
God isn't real, and yet we used to go to Sunday school. Pointless. Absolutely fucking pointless. So where is your argument there?
Because you have to
Little
go to
Santa
school.
Claus growing up.
No.
I want to
you
hear
have
more
to-
from Moneybags here. So
No,
Moneybags-
1 second, Kimo. Because God doesn't exist, and you have to go to the Sunday school. So, what's your
And
point?
they teach us about Jesus. And you're saying, okay, if the flat earth isn't real, there's no point in learning about it.
1 second.
God isn't real.
What is the connection? What is the connection with flat earth and God?
Because none of them are real, and people take the effort to learn about them. Except the flat earth is real.
You don't think there's any inherent understanding of religion that maybe helps you relate to other people around you that do follow those religions? There's no benefit?
Is that not what happens when you find a flat earth community?
Yeah, there's actually no benefit to flat earth. If you
Well,
have
I'm
a
having a
benefit to
good
flat earth,
time.
please show me. There's no tangible benefit.
What do you
Come on.
what do you get out of coming to this server and debating people with the
Oh,
flat
I'm not
earth?
here
Do you
to
feel
debate people. I'm here to laugh at people.
The idea,
and it makes you
Emily,
satisfied?
the idea, Emily,
No,
is
it's
people like you and
Tell me
your
to listen to Kimo, lie to
get something
people,
out of it.
and be gullible about
You
it.
are getting something out of the existence of a flat earth in the community.
No,
You get to see
it's
what's
not
up.
tangible.
No, we are not getting nothing
It's
from this
tangible, it's
community.
physically benefits anyone.
Then why are you here? If you're not getting anything out
You
of
not
it,
hear me
not
the
that
first time?
satisfaction, why are you here? If you're not
Did you not hear
getting
me the
anything
first
out
two
of it,
times I
leave.
said it? Did you not hear me
Okay,
the
sorry,
first two
go
times?
again. Probably not, because I was probably speaking over you. Do go.
Because it's funny.
So you get something out of it.
That's not really something tangible, though.
Well, you're having a good time. You're sitting at your computer and you're laughing at people. So you're getting something
no, I'm actually
emotionally
doing
out
other
of it.
things and listening to people
I
be
don't get
gullible
anything tangible
online.
out of going to church. I just sit and think about it.
Well,
Just think
you can
about
learn how to
Jesus.
relate to other people who think about this stuff. So there is something
Is that
tangible
the
there, something
same?
useful. There's nothing useful about flat Earth. If you have something useful about it, please let us know. You'd be the first.
Well,
Oh,
people
Emily.
can also find a community here. Yes.
Emily, so for example, flat earthers, they don't use mathematics. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to go to you have to find a job. Yeah. And that job,
Okay.
for example, implies some mathematics. What are you gonna do? Because flat earthers, they don't use mathematics. They are pop numbers that are not relevant for them. What you gonna do in this case? What you gonna do in the case when you're gonna have something to explain to somebody, and we are 7 billion people in this earth, and you're gonna start to explain with him because I don't know what is the sun, I don't know what is the atmosphere, but I know we have a dome. I know because it's flat, and that's it. You don't have other things to explain.
It's fun. It's fun to believe in things and question things. There's my answer. It's fun. Maybe I'm not the same as everyone else. I can't give you the same answer because I think a lot of other people might view it completely differently.
But you
I'm
don't.
gonna say it's fun.
You don't think you have a handicap when you have to compete with other people that are around you, and the other people that are well educated and they have better positions, better jobs, and you're gonna ask all your life what I have done it wrong.
Okay, and
So, and what end? You want to be the low end of the society?
I don't think I will be.
Look at this.
So,
This is
you
a
are,
terrible argument.
unfortunately.
Look at these
There's nothing
arguments.
wrong with being a flat earther. They can be flat earthers.
These are poor
Right, but they can't
arguments,
produce anything
Moneybags.
tangible from that belief, Scott.
Fine. They don't keep Christians.
It's an awful thing to watch.
It's
So
fine.
Moneybags,
It's
if you're on a ball,
people-
Yeah,
How
it
we-
is fine.
if we're on a board, Moneybags, how are we going to prove this? How are we going to demonstrate it to be true?
God,
And think.
it's a hard question.
Look at all the body of evidence that you have. How can we demonstrate that we're on a board?
It's almost like he isn't listening to anything anyone
Yeah,
says.
that's just the thing. How can you prove it's a ball? How can you prove it's flat? Like,
Yeah, but no one's taught you in school you're on a flat Earth. You have to figure that out for yourself. But you were told you were on a ball. So where's the evidence that we're on a globe spinning, flying through space?
But just looking with your own eyes, KIMO.
Yeah,
looking
look
at
with
the
your own
horizon,
eyes, see if you can see
seeing
curvature,
things,
and then
seeing things disappear bottom up on the horizon, which is only possible on a globe and not on a flat Earth.
Yeah.
That's as easy as it gets, KIMO.
which horizon are you talking of?
Easiest over the water,
Really
but
good
any
horizon.
horizon, any time that you can see
There's
bottom up
multiple horizons
obstruction,
for KIMO
that's
now.
proof of a globe.
Yeah, but which horizon are you talking? The physical horizon or the apparent horizon?
When you look with
There's a
your eyes,
difference?
it's always
You can
an
only see
apparent
one
horizon,
You're gonna learn some
KIMO.
today, Moneybags. Very good. He said, "Is there a difference?" Yeah, there is.
No,
a
KIMO,
huge...
it's not any difference from the horizon, KIMO.
Here we
Stop
go.
creating
Here we
bullshit
go.
things, KIMO.
God.
So how you gonna so explain to me
God, explain
what
to-
is
give me
what is the
opportunity
difference between
to,
physical horizon and apparent horizon? What is the difference?
Moneybags was like, "There's a difference. What's this all about?
Yes.
What's going on here?"
No, can you explain to me and Moneybag and other people?
Well, I was just trying to, but you just straight up
No, you
interrupted
didn't.
me.
You have been asked people. You didn't explain nothing.
I was just about to, but let's give you the opportunity to explain what horizon it is. Was it Gummy that
I
said
didn't say nothing about horizon. You have been
Gummy
bringing the
Bear, yeah,
horizon.
Gummy Bear said when something goes over the horizon, that tells you you're on a ball, right?
Not just that it's going over the horizon, the fact that it's disappearing bottom up. That it's not just shrinking into or shrinking out of view, which it would on a flat Earth, is actually disappearing bottom up. You can still see the top of things as they're disappearing beyond the horizon. That's only possible if the Earth is a sphere.
Yeah, but when have you been on a flat Earth to know that?
No, because we understand how vision works, KIMO.
Through assumption. Calculations.
No, KIMO.
No assumptions.
By looking on this thing.
No assumption. Looking and measuring. For example, you can use a laser and then measure how that laser works. And what is laser? It's light. And what do we see? It's light. So we know how light works. Therefore, if the Earth was flat, we could figure it out because we know how light works. And if it was flat, because how we know how light works, it would not look like it does in real life. It does not coincide with reality, i.e., it is not reality. Earth is not flat, it is a sphere.
So, Moneybag's going to introduce you to the number one argument that proves there is no way we can be living on a curved surface.
Oh damn, KIMO about to drop a truth bomb.
They're all nervous now.
Take cover, everyone.
Yep.
Do you want to warn him? Do you want to prepare him or anything before we begin?
No,
I mean, if KIMO knows all this truth, why can't he use it for something practical? Isn't the truth practical and applicable
Nice
to the real
comment.
world?
That's one comment. Anything else?
Apply it to the real world, KIMO.
I appreciate your Anything else? Anybody else?
Yeah, so when KIMO will speak, he will dismiss obvious evidence and just hold, without explaining why you would dismiss it, he just dismisses it. So just keep your eye out for that.
Anything else?
That's what an honest person does.
Well, I'm just going to go Spurs, but Dakota sort of triggered me there.
Well, no,
See,
it was just like warnings because I'm going to get into our friend here, Moneybags, is like, what? What do you mean physical apparent horizons? I'm just going to break that down.
Well,
but before the ballers kind of like interject and derail and gatekeep and bring up all kinds of, so they can warn. That's usually what I was doing, man. Just so they get the chance. Pair him.
I just wanted to give him a quick example, like because a couple of years ago, I needed to get my mum and myself out of a situation, so I'm already thinking about what we're talking about. I was able to sell a house, move to a better location, so the situation for me and my mum has improved while I'm thinking about what the shape of the earth is. So flat earthers, if you want to give it that umbrella term, can still make wise, coherent, rational decisions and function in society and all that good stuff, man. I just want you to know that too. We're not all conspiracy.
They can, but you're not.
I'm not sitting here in a tinfoil hat, with Illuminati symbols all around me.
Who are you addressing, Mo? Said you're addressing.
If you take a step back and look at it again, flat Earth, there's like one of three things.
All right, Moneybags, are you ready now? Still with us. Thanks.
I think KIMO's stalling for time, Moneybags. I think he doesn't know what to say.
No, I'm checking he's still here, that's all. Ah, he's still here, good. So,
Am I talking now?
Yeah. So you can hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's I don't know if you've heard of the black swan argument. So the idea is that all swans are white and there are no black swans. And to disprove this argument, all we need is an observation of one black swan, right? Get that?
Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
What do I mean?
Well, the only way to, the way to disprove seeing only white swans is to see a black swan, something different.
Yeah. Right. So that's like if P, then Q. If not Q, therefore not P. Right?
Yes and no.
The Mulder's Poland.
You actually.
So we've got the same. I told you guys. I gave you guys minutes to warn him. I knew you would do this. Right? I knew this was going to happen. Right? And
let KIMO start his bullshit, Gypsy.
Now I've began. It's like, let's stop KIMO from explaining Black Swan. So the same idea, the same principle, Moneybags, is with the Earth being a sphere. Okay, so we can say if the Earth is a globe with a radius of 3959 E, yes, E, then every horizon distance must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer height in feet cubed. Do you understand that? Yeah, so that's where our geometric... So, if we are 1 foot off the ground, our geometric horizon should be 1.22 miles away. Okay? That's the absolute physical geometric horizon where things will disappear and you will never be able to bring them back. Right?
No, there you failed. You failed there.
So let me pose this argument.
No, KIMO, while you stayed on geometric, you're right. When you say we will see, that's not geometry.
Take a look at that in the chat there. That Mulder's Tolerance. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we find when we go out there in the real world is that the horizon fluctuates. Yes, it moves from position. So when we used to see observations like this, for example, we would be asked, Oh, well, where is the bottom of that mountain? Constructed by Earth curve. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, that's, we know that's not physically obstructing it, but we just couldn't prove it. Okay? So we were trying to figure out a way of how we can demonstrate that that obstruction, that horizon, is not physical. It's not physical Earth curve. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What we had was an observation over some platforms. Post this. Okay, so do you see this image here?
Yes.
Yes, so what we have here is what the ball earthers would call physical obstruction on the left.
Mm-hmm.
You see the platform obstructed, you can't see the legs. The one on the
No, you can't.
No. And then the platform on the right, we can now see the legs. You'll see.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can see the legs there.
Absolutely. So the question is, where is that physical geometric horizon? Is this in front of the platform or behind the platform? If you take a look at those images, where is the horizon for you? Which one is the horizon when you observe those? Let me post it again for you.
Yeah, I got it up.
Yeah. Which is the actual horizon? Physical horizon.
Well, on the first one, it seems almost cut and dry. Oh, you see that horizon? That's the horizon.
Yep.
But on the second one, it almost looks like there's two.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't know which one to pick.
Wouldn't know where to pick, right? That's because it's moved further back behind the platforms, and obviously is a lot further, a lot difficult to see, a lot more difficult to see. See? So this tells us then that anytime we see obstruction, we know it's an illusion, not of a physical nature. What you would need is the video to this. Do a bit more research. Let me get the video. But that demonstrates that the horizon therein is just an illusion. The obstruction is just an illusion. Therefore, can't calculate to the physical geometric horizon. So as I gave you the 3959, yes, and then where the horizon should be for a 1 foot observer is not there. So if it's not there, where is it?
Well, that's an interesting point.
If you're 6 foot, your horizon should be around 3 miles. But obviously, because we don't have demarcation points for those types of observations, you're never sure how far the horizon is. But with this image I've shown you, know how far the oil rigs are. One of them's 10 miles away. So we know the horizon is in front of the platforms on one day, and the next day it's behind the platforms, which is obviously impossible if we were on a ball. You see, that should be the same obstruction every day, all day.
Yeah. Well, my just question is, like, we define a horizon as sort of the edge of what we can see. But what if, like, you're saying the obstruction's not really there? Am I right? Is that what I'm?
Yeah. Look at this.
Telling me.
Yeah. Take a look at this basketball picture. So you see to the horizon on this basketball. The distance to that horizon will never change. So let's say if it's 10 miles away, I come back tomorrow, that horizon will be 10 miles away tomorrow, and every day, right? But when we look at our Earth's horizon, same thing with the basketball, it's now moved forward, backwards, higher, lower, all over the place. So if you were trying to make a measurement, what I'm trying to get at, that your measurements would vary throughout the week. See? So have a look at that basketball picture. Ballers try to say, well, when you're so close to the Earth, it looks flat. Okay, granted, fine. But that horizon will never move, will never change its distance You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the real world, there, the horizon constantly moves back and forth. So you'll never be able to draw a tangent. You know what a tangent is, yeah?
Loosely.
So it's just like a line to where it meets a curved surface. You got the curved surface, and it's just that point where they meet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will never be able to draw a line to the horizon, as the horizon will constantly change positions or fluctuate.
Just my question is with that oil rig photo, like just thinking a bit harder of it. Have you taken into account like the changing of the tides? Because obviously they go in and out, like deeper, higher, lower king tides and all that. Could that not be a different tide? So less obstruction, if you will.
If it's tides, I mean, again, not Earth curve, yeah? Not caused by...
Yeah, well, because in the first image, there's more water, say it's a higher tide, so there's more water obstructing it, so you cannot see the legs. But then on the next day, it could be a low tide, and then there's less water, the obstruction has lowered.
And what does that tell you
Because that's how water works.
Yeah. What does that tell you about the horizon?
Well, it just tells me the horizon's a point of obstruction, and obstructions sometimes move.
So you've got the
like
tide.
water.
Got the tide on the left, causing a horizon. Yeah. Causing a horizon that's yay high, and then the next day the tide goes out, and then the horizon is now where?
Well, further, I guess, if that's the case.
So that's why we say, which horizon are you referring to? The apparent horizon, which constantly fluctuates, or the physical geometric horizon, like the basketball picture I just showed you. The physical horizon like this basketball would never change, never ever move from that position. It will always be in the same location. See? So if we send a toy car beyond that boat, beyond that horizon, it will always be obstructed physically by the basketball. Yeah. You know, obviously, if you put water on that basketball and the water conforms around it, it's the same way. It would obstruct boat, just like what we are supposed to see in reality. Yeah. But if that horizon on the basketball were to move towards us, how would you explain that?
Sorry, can you just repeat that last point?
Look at the horizon of the basketball. If that were to move towards us or away from us, how would you explain that? So we're not going to move our position. We're going to stay still. We're not going to go higher or lower or forward or back. We're going to stay in the same position. How does that horizon on the basketball move?
Well, there's no tides on a basketball.
Yeah, it's a different substance that does not move unless like obstructive. But with the water and the tides, that's obstructed by the moon with the forming of the tides. Of course, it's not going to appear different because it doesn't move.
Solid objects, yeah.
Yeah, but if it's tides, it's not the Earth's curvature. Most important thing, right?
Yeah, well, I personally, as a looker and on the round earther side, I don't think they base the whole thing on the horizon and go, oh well, the horizon's curved, that means everything's curved. They see it more as, oh, I can literally see the curve when I change my perspective.
But remember, we're going with Mulder's Tolan. If the Earth is what they tell us, then the geometric horizon should be at a set location, right? Or it shouldn't be. Okay, again, look at the basketball. If this is what we mean. If the Earth is 3959, look at this basketball, and we're a 1 foot observer. So you're 1 foot high, and you look towards the horizon. It will be 1.2 miles away. Yeah? So that horizon of the basketball is 1.2 miles away. You understand?
Uh-huh.
So
Kima, you're avoiding his point.
tomorrow, that same horizon will now be more than 10 miles away.
But how does it become more than 10 miles away on the basketball?
That's what I'm asking you. How does that happen?
Well, generally because of light. Light just travels unless obstructed.
Yeah, so
That's how we see.
How can we make that horizon?
And then when the obstruction's moved, can you not see?
How can we make that horizon further back on the basketball?
Well, the only sort of way is to get higher.
No, without going higher.
Well, of course you can't really change that, because if I don't change the basketball, if I don't start cutting away at bits or whatever, of course it's not going to change. But when I'm sitting near the shore and I see the water, that water's going to change. I can't stop that.
Not the water, the physical obstruction.
The physical obstruction, like who can stop a physical obstruction, really?
Okay,
when something happens. Like that basketball's in the way, what can I do?
No, I'm saying that if something is beyond the horizon, we are told it's the Earth that's blocking our view.
Well, yes.
Yeah, the Earth is blocking our view. So in this image on the left, better for you again, because that's going to really quickly.
Kima has mentioned multiple times it's the water blocking our view, not the Earth.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not the Earth's curve that is blocking our view, is what you're saying.
But water follows the Earth's curve.
It's the water's curve.
It does, generally.
Yeah, but is that the is that the Earth's curve causing that obstruction?
So Kimo, he understands that water follows the Earth's curve, and water can have tides that goes up and down.
So is it the tide blocking it, or is it Earth's curve?
It is the water blocking it.
Which is
they're sort of both the same thing in this case, because the tides is just a result on why you can see the pictures changing, but the Earth's curve is causing the water to be in the way of seeing anything further past.
Right. So that's what you're saying. That's that the Earth's curve is making that bulge between me and the object in front of me, right?
But saying that, Kimo, is you're again ignoring it's the water that's actually there.
Yeah, but is the Earth
underneath the water? Yes, you have Earth curve, but it's the water that's in your way of vision.
Is that water curving around the ball?
Well, generally, that's how the gravitational pull puts it so.
That's Earth's curve, yeah?
Yeah.
So the cause of the obstruction should be Earth's curve, not the wave, yeah? Or the tide.
Yep.
Okay. So in this picture,
well,
are you saying
I just think you're not getting my point with that thing. Because
no, you're saying this is the wave.
You're thinking that I'm saying that the tides are the cause of the obstruction. I'm saying that's the cause of the difference that you can see.
He's not saying that the tide alone, but rather having tides on a globe Earth where it follows such a curve, together, they create this kind of observation. You know? So you can't just single it out as being Earth's curve, it's both of them together.
Okay, that's fine. So the reason why we can't see the bottom of objects is because of waves and Earth's curve. Or tides.
Yeah, now you've changed.
Not waves, sorry.
The reason why you see different on 2 different days can be not just because of Earth curve. Earth curve is alone why you'll see obstruction bottom up, but the fact that it's water might contribute to the fact that you see different on different days.
The obstruction is caused by Earth's curve, what you're saying.
Yeah, but in your current argument, we're not talking about just obstruction. We're talking about 2 different types of obstruction on 2 different days, or not types, but amounts of obstruction on 2 different days.
Christ, you're just building up to the Black Swan. Have you not heard him do it before?
Is that due to... Let's get this right. So the obstruction, Moneybags, is it due to tides or Earth curve?
It's not one or the other in that case. When I say the tides, I'm referring to like why it looks different. Why I say that I can't see further than that second picture, for example, is because of the curve, because it curves around and it's like, oh, well, that's in the way.
But that's what I'm asking.
That.
So that's what I'm asking. The obstruction is because of the Earth curve. Is it because of the Earth curving? Is that why we can't see the bottom?
That's. Well, yeah.
Yeah?
That's what I think, because when you say there's a set point, like, at this height I should see this far, but that's relying on a calculation which you, in fact, don't really trust as much. But when I think that at any point there could be an obstruction before that, and you can't see that far. But if there's no obstruction until then, like, I can see as far as I want. I can see the stars millions of light years away because there's no obstruction.
So you're saying the obstruction is because of Earth curve?
Yes, I'm going to say that. Lock it in.
Okay. So if that is... You look at the picture still, yeah?
Mm-hmm. The oil one or the basketball?
Well, both you can look at. But I'm looking at the platforms, the oil platform.
Yeah, the oil platforms, yep.
So on the left, is that obstruction due to Earth curve?
Well, it's a mixture. Like, if I'm comparing the two, the left one, I see less because of a higher tide, and I can't see past that. And the higher tides are on the Earth and a part of the Earth.
Just hold on. Is it because of Earth curve or high tides?
It's not one or the other, is what I'm trying to say. It's a mixture. It's a high tide and the Earth's curve causes that high tide to obstruct that area. And then on the second one, the low tide mixed with the Earth's curvature, like, stops me from seeing further up.
So the one on the left is a high tide. That's giving us this horizon. So that horizon then, it can move, is what you're saying.
Well, I guess so, yeah. Like, if that obstruction moves, I can see further.
So how does the Earth move then behind the platforms?
That's the thing. The obstruction is almost always there. Like, just with water, it is a liquid that can move and change constantly. And we know it moves and changes constantly, and we can predict it and such quite accurately. So, like, that moves. But, like, the Earth physically, like, if I see a mountain, I can't move that. And nothing really is going to move it soon until something really big happens.
If I were to take a measurement...
The water can.
If I were to take a measurement to the horizon, which image would I use, the left or the right?
You can use either or. You could go on this day, the horizon was longer because there wasn't something in the way. And on the other day, the horizon was shorter because there was something in the way.
Yeah, so does the Earth keep changing size?
Well, it doesn't. If I stand... Because we're using this water as a movable liquid that fills in a space and constantly changes. If I was to go on a flat bit of land, a flat stretch of land, and do it on 2 different days, it should be the same image. Almost to the T. But we're using an obstruction that moves compared to something that doesn't.
So that again, if you were to take what over 2 different days?
A photo on a flat bit of land, like proper land, like dirt, soil, all that, from the same height, it should be the same horizon distance. But on the water, that changes because that obstruction.
Why would it be the same?
Because it won't change like the water will. The dirt won't suddenly pick up and move or go in tide and out tide like the water will.
So you're saying the water is causing this horizon. That's the reason why.
It's the water on curve.
It's higher and lower. That's an interesting answer. I've never heard that one before. Do you know how high the tides would have to be to reach that much of the platforms?
I couldn't know. I can't see just from an image. I'm not there. I can't measure it practically. That would help you.
No, I'm just thinking how high the tides would have to be to obstruct.
Well, that's the things, because it's a very like long stretch of land. You can tell by sort of the obstruction of the air, making it seem almost blue at some points and very distant. And so you can see that's far, far away. So there's a lot of water in between. There's a lot of water that can go a bit higher, and many other factors of the seabed and all that cause it to that.
Oh, well, I'll give you the link. I'm gonna try and find a link to this. Got more details. Yeah.
I'll definitely check all these out. I'm saving them to a
it's not
document so I can watch them at a more convenient time.
It confuses most globe earthers. That, like I said, that's an answer. That's a new one.
Yeah, you weren't good, were you, KIMO?
You're asking the sensible questions.
Moneybags.
Moneybags.
He's thinking
Thank you.
critically. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, let me just get you.
Well, I'll probably have to take that video and probably skedaddle at the moment. It's getting a bit late for me, and I don't want to be too grumpy.
Don't you have school?
Yeah, I don't want to be late for that either.
Yeah, it's like 12 o'clock at night here. You're very smart, Moneybags. I'm proud to call you my little brother.
No.
Duh. How?
Come on.
Warm.
Come on, reel it
This
in.
is a much better turn.
Come on, reel it in.
Well, I would like to thank all the people who have contributed to this sort of discussion at this moment. I enjoyed hearing both sides of the argument and just learning a bit more.
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, well.
Alright,
I'm off then.
Let me get the video. Yeah, so this is what pretty much brought the globe to its. They have no geometry. Take a look at this.
Oh, bless KIMO's heart.
And this will help you understand. I mean, it's such a sore point for the globe earthers, like I say. Without that physical horizon, as you asked, what do you mean by physical or apparent? Most people don't realise that the horizon is not physical, not geometrical, not measurable. Yeah?
It is.
Well, yeah.
There's the video to it, to that picture there.
Yeah, I'll happily view it as soon as I possibly can. It seems quite interesting, and I would love to learn more about it.
Yeah, check out his channel. He's got a lot more observations there too.
Will do. Well, as I said before, I have to go. It's
Thank you
lovely
for your
speaking to
time,
you all.
yes.
And so long. Have a good one.
Have a good one.